these were the three principles that we chose. The first one was professionalism, the second one was collaboration, and the third one was we're working with the system, in the system, and with the system from a place that believes in public education for all. And we wanted this education to be based on nature. And throughout the process, we understood that there's something that's it's in the center of everything that we're doing, and that is the connection, the collaboration, the people working together. The nature part and the forest part is it's important, and it's even it's an integral part of what we're doing, but it's not enough. And we created
it's not the purpose.
It's not the purpose. The purpose isn't just going outside. The purpose is going outside in order to go inside. And inside is here, to the heart. It's a place where the connections happen. If we're talking about Judaism, it's one of the main essential principles or ideas of Judaism also is the connection to your inner soul. Some will call it spirit, whatever you want to call it. And then we understood that we're building. We began to create education and pedagogy which comes from bottom up. The people who are they're not inventing it. We're not inventing the wheel. We're creating a new kind of wheel together. Are the educators themselves. What we were trying to do as the people who are leading this innovative kind of education is giving them the environment, giving them the tools, and protecting them from outside interferers in order to give them the ability to create this education from the ground up. And what they started to build is education which the purpose is for the child to meet himself, to get to know his inner self and connect. But there are three gateways, if we can call it, in order to reach that inner connectiveness. The first one is nature, the forest, physically but also spiritually. The second one is learning through life. I mean, it's what Dewey and progressive education has been talking about for a while, right? Doing it through games, doing it through problem and project-based education or learning, doing it through work-based education, but doing it not in order to give skills or to create some kind of model citizen. Doing it in order to connect to yourself through the work, through the game, through the experience. And the third gateway, which is a very, very important gateway, is a gateway of relationships. Doing it through the chevruta, if you want to call it, but not in order to gain knowledge, but not in order to gain some kind of purpose. It's not. It's relationships as the tool for inner development, because through relationships, through the eyes, through the words, through the language, we connect and we develop as people. And we understand that this is also what creates some kind of center for a child to grow and to meet his inner motivation, to meet his inner will. And when he is in this center, he can choose the right choices for himself. He can understand his behavior. He can understand his thoughts, and he can learn. He can learn whatever he would like to learn. But this is the base. That's why this is elementary school. It's really elementary, because we believe that this is the elementary parts of the human being. And that's why the kids here, we believe, will be able to grow to be whoever wants really his will to be a scientist will be a scientist. Whoever in his will, in his inner self, is supposed to grow up to be a dancer, he'll grow up to be the best dancer he can be. And we're not trying to create some kind of, this is the right way to do it. If I can continue, the common ground here was the ground, the nature, the Adama, but also the Adam. And this is we have to say something about the place that we're sitting here. Hamakom, which is also, we were talking about it one day, that Hamakom in Judaism, it's a place where you meet one another, and through the energy you meet a spiritual connection. And this place here, which is the Margelot Har Meron, it's to the footsteps of Har Meron, is a place where there's a diversity. There's of groups. Some are secular, some are ultra orthodox, some are just religious. Some are religious, and there are Arabs here of all kinds. I mean, the spectrum here is very diverse, but the common ground is nature and community, and the community here that's being built around the school, because we believe, like John Dewey, that the school is a communal project. But we also believe that the schools, which are communal projects, are tools to connect. And here we are part of a larger strategy of the municipality, which has been, it's also came about, I think, through these natural connections with Bereshit. Now we're part of because we're not an independent school yet, we're part of a religious school. So these are daily connections on educational base and community base that are creating something that's much more than just education, and which is, I think, part of what education is supposed to do. It's supposed to change you, not only the child, but also the educators, and also the parents, and I don't know today where it stands, but at that time, 3 years ago, when we first we founded the school, we were the only school that, I think also today, we're the only school that the kids are outside all day, every day, all year.
It's
Even
the
in
first
rainy day.
forest school in Israel.
Yeah.
It's the first forest
Yeah,
school
it's
in
raining
Israel.
now, if you can hear.
Yes.
But if I can elaborate on that, we ask of all our teachers. We don't call them teachers because in Hebrew, moreh is this. So we call them mechanchim. We ask all of our mechanchim to model not just the education, but also, through pedagogy, but through them also being a group that is working on inner development through the circle, through the team. So it's tough.
Social development.
It's inner development through relationships between each other. So
והם גם מקיימים, אני קוטעת אותך, הם גם מקיימים בעיקר את ה-life learning, זאת אומרת הם בלמידה ובחשיבה ובפיתוח מתמיד. כלומר אפילו לחשוב על השעות שמורה בבית ספר קונבנציונלי מקדיש, והשעות פה הם כל הזמן לומדים, חושבים, שואלים.
It's two levels actually.
סליחה שקטעתי.
No, it's good that you said, because it's two levels. The first level is like we want to, in Finland everybody talks about 50% of the time they're with the kids, working with the kids, and 50% are working with themselves, with their parents, with other teachers, with their principals, or researching. This is the kind of percentages that we want to reach. We're almost there. They're working a lot of the time. We're working on pedagogy development. But the other thing is and this is subtle. If you're not really looking for it, you won't see it. But we're working on their communication between one another. Because if they are not communicating in a healthy manner between themselves, they won't be modeling the kind of education that we want to give, and the school just won't be able to survive. I mean, to create sustainable education, we believe that you have to keep this realm, this kind of communication between the teachers, and we're working at it. We have someone that's working with them to keep this healthy, some call it, Marshall Rosenberg calls it nonviolent communication or collaborative communication, but this kind of communication that creates and also the environment where people can connect to what's going on here, but also the inner development that we're asking of the kids. And I think this is one of the things that people feel when they're here, when they come to the school from outside. They feel that there's something that's we're doing right, but it's not always easy to see because the first thing that you see when you come to the forest is this. You see, and you'll see it in a little while. These kids are outside, but you don't see how much we're working in order to create what's going on between them. Because what's going on between them that's
what's important.
And we're also, I mean, if we're talking about doing all these big, when he talks about אנחנו לא מחנכים, חינוך, איך הוא אומר?
לא הכנה לחיים או חיים עצמם.
כן. It's not preparation for life, it's life itself. And this is life learning. I mean, we believe that if we don't give them the tools to be here and now, then it's not that they're going to meet these kinds of tools later on in life. They should meet it right now. So we're not preparing them for life. And in retrospect, we believe it will prepare them for life, of course. But you understand.
יופי. כל הכבוד. It's a wonderful story.